Обезьяны не хотят войны.
How did you originally become involved in the project from the very beginning?
Wow. Well, in actual fact, it was the visual effects supervisor who I'd worked with a lot on Lord of the Rings and King Kong, Joe Terry. He sent me the script and he said, Andy, you've got to read this. This is an amazing part. And I read it, and it was the most beautifully written script. This was for Rise of the Planet of the Apes. You know, to get the chance to play a chimpanzee all the way through from infancy through adolescence and then to become this revolutionary leader was great. And it was brilliantly directed by Rupert Wyatt, who I became very good friends with. And then, you know, the film was very successful, and of course Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was then going to be made, and Mett Ривз took it on and has just done an incredible job with it.
Mett Ривз, who directed the movie, he and I had worked together over 10 years ago on a television series here called Felicity, and we had been always trying to find something else to do together. I had no idea it would be Planet of the Apes, but he called me last year and said, come do this with me. And I just thought the partnership of this big Fox summer movie full of action and technology and 3D, you know, paired with Matt and his sensibility and real sense of intimacy in his work would be a good thing. And I thought a very worthwhile surprise and adventure to go on.
Yeah, I met him and thought he was smart and charming and just delight. I thought he was a delightful man, and still think that. And the script was so good, and the project, just being involved with Planet of the Apes, being part of it, was very appealing to me, and what he wanted to do with it, and where he wanted to take it. The film that he described to me is the one I saw the other night. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
У нас обоих есть семья. Ты защищаешь свою, а я свою. Мы обязаны сохранить мир.
So how did you prep, I mean, to become an ape? It's got to be such an intense, you know, preparation to do something so physically demanding.
It is. I mean, it's a combination really of doing a lot of research and studying the ape that you're playing, of course. But then very quickly it becomes not just about movement; it becomes about character and specifics and character specifics. And you know, Caesar has such a very complex, rich journey, and so it's like really connecting the part of you that connects with Caesar and that physicality.
We shot that in the motion capture studio, and we had jungle gyms set up, and the guys were swinging from bar to bar for real. So what you see is a real actor swinging on a bar.
And still having to almost maintain that composure and posture at the same time. It's got to be so exhausting. Though.
Soft, relaxed connection. Boom, everything is fluid and economic. Right. So yeah.
Well, which one is your favorite to act out though? Out of the chimps, you know, like is it apes? Is it the bigger the gorillas?
Yeah, I like playing chimps. I like it because they're little wiry, quick little, they're fun to play. There's a lot of personality in them.
Цезарь, это твой дом.
Кто это был?
Хороший человек, как ты. Цезарь, любить людей больше, чем обезьян.
The original inspiration for Caesar was a real chimpanzee called Oliver, who was known as the humanzee. He was believed to be the progeny of ape and human. He walked bipedally. He had very human facial expressions. And so I based Caesar on him, but then trying to find Caesar's voice kind of came through a lot of exploration in this film, because Caesar has this sort of accelerated evolution because of the drugs that he was inheriting from the science lab where he was rescued. So really the sound comes from a combination of ape vocalizations, which I'd studied, and also you know, it was very necessary not to make them too articulate, make language too easy for him. So we had to sort of project our voices from the throat through our larynx, as if an ape were, as if it was sort of pushing through, and then forming words around that, rather than over articulating with our lips and tongue as we do.
Wow, did that take a long time for you to perfect your movements and the voice and the having to put all of that together? It's got to be incredible.
It does take a long time, but fortunately we had a good rehearsal period before shooting started for this, and we did these long improvisations with all of the apes together actually, where we were establishing the hierarchy within the groups, and you had orangutans and chimpanzees and gorillas and so on and so forth, all learning to communicate with each other. So it was very interesting and exciting.
Ты понимаешь, что они нападут на тебя? Они животные!
He wants to save the human race.
Right.
There's nothing villainous about that.
Right.
Is there?
Makes sense, but still, just the dad. Okay, he was like the human villain, I would say. That's how I took him. I want to hear about favorite like memory on set, something super fun that you just can't forget.
I mean, extraordinary moments. You know, when we're up in Vancouver and they're on a big lake and a river with the horses coming up and the logs that were climbing all over, and then, you know, jumping off. Actually, that scene got cut. I jumped off a cliff down into this waterfall. I mean, it was just, it was a film on scale and scope. You know, that as an actor, you know, at drama school or thinking about it, you go, wow, this is one of those scratch me, I'm here moments. Wow, look at this. There's, you know, just before a take, you go, there's 1,000 people standing around here, and you know, and I'm making a movie about the Charlton Heston kicked off. You know, that is part of our history. You know, as a novel and as a film, and you know, as stories throughout, you know, throughout everything.
Hanging out.
I love acting in all its forms, and what's brilliant about performance capture is the ability to transport you to these other creatures that you couldn't possibly do anymore with makeup or you know, prosthetics. Or it's so much more liberating. Because imagine if I had to play this character with a big furry suit on and lots of layers of latex and rubber, you wouldn't have any of the subtlety of expression that you can portray with this. Yeah.
Цезарь!